Hello.
Hi. What rubbish are we going to chat today?
We're chatting rubbish. Cardio.
Yes, cardio. We've touched on it with conditioning before, but we're a little bit more about the actual cardio itself, why it's important, the kind of stuff you need to be doing really for combat sports. So Jiu Jitsu, MMA, Muay Thai.
Yeah, you need to do it.
You do it. It is one of those things you can't get around not doing cardio if you're competing in a combat sport, to be fair. I think most people think that just steady state long distance running is the way forward, and it isn't, to be fair. You don't get the best gains out of that. It has its place, by all means, particularly for fat burning, if you're looking to, steady state cardio in the morning, yeah, it does start to shred you up a bit if you commit to it and do it regularly. But for actually improving your cardiovascular fitness, there's two types, by the way, which I will touch on in a moment. Firstly, more the running, sprinting, that kind of cardio, which is really cardiovascular. And Pete, what kind of stuff, when you competed on Polaris last, did you do? Was it mostly the bike?
It was mostly the bike. I'm going to admit. To get the extra oomph was always, 20 seconds on, 10 seconds off, Tabata rounds.
4 minutes.
Yeah, 4 minutes, just until you feel nauseous. And just go sit in the corner and cry for a bit. And yeah, that's pretty much, that was my, pretty much, not every day, but I would make sure I was hitting, like in my brain I had it like, it's a 7-day week, I will hit between 4 and 5 sessions at the very least.
Yeah, and that makes sense. Over a 6 to 12 week period, depending on what your training cycle is, when you're competing, what your base level of fitness is to start with. And also with that whole kind of stuff, whether you're integrating hill sprints, little mini cardio circuits, things like burpees, and maybe even very light weights because you just want to be working, keeping your heart rate way above 80% as much as you can, and dipping in, dipping out, dipping in, dipping out. You can get way more scientific with it, and there's other methodologies which, people who, like semi-professional runners, club runners, will have whole training zones with heart rates and all that stuff. Yeah. Basically, get your heart rate up and keep it in and out of that zone as fast and as much as you can. We'd probably say 3 times a week realistically as a minimum in competition. Those sort of sessions might increase in frequency, and you'll start to drop down the duration. So your duration will drop, but your work intensity should start to increase each time, because you should be getting fitter and fitter and fitter for that anaerobic exercise. Outside of that, I have a bit of a different view on it. The cardio below that anaerobic threshold, that above 80% of your max heart rate, of your heart rate, realistically, there is an element of cardio, but it's more strength endurance, which I think you kind of hit much more with using like weighted circuits, and you might get some good cardio out of that as well. Some people wouldn't treat it as cardio, but it kind of is. I mean, it is a strength thing, but it's also a cardio thing, because it's being able to maintain your output for X period of time over rounds you're doing, or whatever it is you're competing in. Particularly for mixed martial arts and Jiu Jitsu, you need to be able to maintain your output of strength over a set period of time. And if it starts to, you get 1 round in and you're gassed because you haven't got the conditioning to deal with that, then that's a cause problem. And we know fighters like that. I used to be like that.
I'll give like my anecdotal sort of testing with like different cardios and types like that. So with like anything with LISS type training, like long, steady state training, where it's like a longer run, so say like a 5K or something like that, I notice my weight will drop if I'm doing it consistently. So that I know that's something. This is all from like a fighter's perspective. What do I want to achieve? If I want to start getting my weight down, and I know like I'm miles away from my weight bracket, I'm going to start doing more of that to start bringing me within that sort of target range of hitting my weight. This is all anecdotal. This is what works for me, right?
Yeah.
When I'm closing in on that, like that competition date, I will up the high intensity interval training, so like get on the bike, which actually sort of just a bit more power based.
Yeah,
Yeah.
power, and you're getting into that, getting your heart rate above 80%.
I will start including, as you say, sort of things with more power, like a little bit of bringing in the weights and stuff like that.
Yeah,
Endurance.
kettlebells.
Yeah, a lot of
that
kettlebells,
sort of
those kind of things. Otherwise, I find I just shred too much. I've got very high metabolism.
Yeah,
so I find like my weight just goes, and I'll come in underweight and under power. And that's been a lot of like my problems in the past. Is I come in quite weak because I've been basically overtraining and trying to get the weight down, but not then ramping up the power towards the competition time. So that's kind of my anecdotal thing with cardio. So I'll be trying too much to get the weight down and then not focus on getting into that horrible zone, because nobody wants to get into the horrible zone.
Yeah. You have to make that your kind of friend, unfortunately.
Yeah, and that's what I sort of flipping sort of into the sort of maybe more on the psychology type side. If you really hate cardio, you know, I've had a stormy relationship with cardio in the past, much more now. As you say, I've made it more my friend. I know that every time I sit on that bike, I'm doing something hard towards my training.
Yeah.
And it's a psychological battle which I've actually won. And it's actually just a moment in time. It's only 4 minutes, which doesn't sound like very much, but if you know what the assault bike is, there's a special place in hell for the person who invented that. It's 4 minutes of hell.
It is. If you're willing to put the effort in.
And I think you win a small psychological battle every time you complete that bike, and then you can just tick that off as a day. During your day, put that to one side, and you know your cardio has gone up a little bit and your power's gone up a little bit. So yeah, that's always a little psychological win for me. But having said that, if you need to do additional cardio and you know you're only going to get on that bike maybe a couple times a week, say 2 times a week, and as I said, you need to be hitting that between 4 and 5 times, get a buddy, get a training buddy who's going to make you sit on it,
to do it,
or is going to disguise the workout to be fun or just not monotonous, because it is fucking monotonous being on that.
One of the other things you can do is you can use things like the bike or interval hill sprints, and either as a cycle or a mini circuit, chuck in some weighted movements, kettlebells, banded runs, crawls, stuff like that. All that good stuff. And one of the other things that people don't understand about using circuits and cardio training for martial arts is when you do it, I often hear people say, oh, well, I'm just going to do the martial arts side of it, and that's going to improve my fitness and cardio. Yes, it is. But the other side of it is, if you try and do double sessions, like 2 sessions, because you would probably have to do 2 sessions a day to get that out of it, or you'd have to roll so hard or spar so hard to keep you up there, and to get those strength and cardio gains, that you're going to get fatigued and you're going to really risk injury. So
fatigue is the biggest factor I find. If ever I just go, oh, I'll just train more, I just fatigue.
Injury sets in. So the nice thing about doing weighted exercises and cardio and circuits and things like that is they're not completely injury free, as in for risk, but they limit the potential risk of people falling on you, stuff like that. Someone kicking you in the face by accident, someone landing on you, all those things. When you get fatigued and you get more than one person in doing an activity. So that's one of the nice things about using things like the bike, sprints, circuits.
I found the
bike
removes
the injury.
Yeah, the bike is brilliant because there's no forceful impact. I find if I've been going for like a long run or something, my knees were all jacked
ankles.
up. I could get on the bike and I could get a cardio workout without it tightening everything up. That's also another thing I like to do, is I like to try to mix up the training so they're not taxing one muscle system, like not muscle system, but like one muscle group. Sorry. Yeah. Like say just legs, and then I'd have to do the foot box and stuff, and my legs are just jacked.
Stiff.
I'm stiff and I can't pass because I've got no pop. and my upper body's fine, what's the point? You know, if I can mix it up with like battle ropes and all those kinds.
Yeah, exactly. And there's so many different tools you can use. Battle ropes is a brilliant one as well. But anyway, on that note, we've covered it.
Yeah.
Thanks very much for watching. Please like, subscribe, all that good stuff. Comment and give us hassle. Love it. Thank you. Bye.